darkness seems so strong, and you just can't go on. Pray for your helping hand. You'll see the sun will rise again. You'll find the strength to carry on up to heaven where you belong. 'Cause life is but a journey for us all.
Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers from around the world. Welcome to another episode of your program, Building a Better Future. I say it's your program because it's for your benefit. The Sheikh Karim is here teaching us how to build a better future. You've seen him before on The Inevitable Journey. You've seen him on Ramadan is Your Second Chance. You've seen him on The Righteous Companions. You've seen him on www.huda.tv. You've seen him on YouTube Islam Way 71. And of course on www.KarimAbuZaid.com. It's all for your benefit. In last episode, we were talking about the public school system in most Western countries. It's a danger for our children. Is it okay to expose our children to these dangers, Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, wa ashhadu anna sayyidana wa nabiyyana Muhammadan abdullahi wa rasuluh. Malik, there is a verse in Surah An-Nisa that fits exactly the minorities of Muslims who live in other countries where the majority of people are not Muslims. The verse reads, إن الذين توفاهم الملائكة ظالمي أنفسهم قالوا فيما كنتم قالوا كنا مستضعفين في الأرض قالوا ألم تكن أرض الله واسعة فتهاجروا فيها فأولئك مأواهم جهنم وساءت مصيرا. Listen to this. Indeed, those whom the angel will come to take their soul at a time when they are transgressing, at a time when they are in disobedience, they are disobeying Allah. The angels will ask them, how did you end up to be like this? How did you allow yourselves to die like this? To die in a state of disobedience? Then they will say, we were outnumbered.
This is their excuse.
Yes.
Is it a valid excuse?
No.
Why not?
The angels will answer by saying, أَلَمْ تَكُنْ أَرْضُ اللَّهِ وَاسِعَةً فَتُهَاجِرُوا فِيهَا. Was not Allah's earth expansive, vast, for you to go somewhere else? فَأُولَٰئِكَ مَأْوَاهُمْ جَهَنَّمْ. The abode of those is the hellfire. So, this verse has a reason for its revelation. It talks about Muslims who were commanded at the time of the Prophet ﷺ to migrate from Mecca to Medina, and they did not. So they stayed in Mecca, and they were of course a minority, and the Meccan exposed them to fitna. They were outnumbered, and then they died in a state of disobedience, in that state. But even so, this is the reason for it, but it can be applied
to here and now.
To here and now. So I say to the brothers, I say to the sisters who are immigrants in other parts of the world where there is a minority group of Muslims, where they dwell amongst non-Muslims, you have no choices whether to establish the deen, the religion, meaning the institutions that guard your deen, that would include the mosque,
of course,
that would include the school, or you have to go somewhere else.
Okay.
That's
period.
There is no third choice.
That's it. We need to make a community within the community to serve our needs.
You have to.
There's no other choice.
Otherwise, you have no choice. Because what are you going to do? Okay, yes, we're talking to the parents. But like we said before, في حديث معقل ibn Yasar في صحيح الإمام Muslim, that the children are entrusted. Okay, how can you allow your children to go and learn that we were apes before we became human?
He's going to come home and tell you, Daddy, I learned something different in school. You didn't know about this.
How can you allow that power creates, or energy creates itself, when Allah is the creator of everything? How can you allow your child to spend almost 2/3 of the day in an environment where Allah's name is not mentioned?
In one generation, it's almost like they're not going to be
Done.
Muslims anymore.
We have already a lost generation
Yeah.
in Europe and America.
Yeah.
A lost generation. His name is Ahmad, his name is Ibrahim, his name is Ismail. He looks like when you speak to him like he doesn't even know. Do you pray? Yeah, sometimes I remember,
Yeah.
Lost generation. We
already.
do have that lost generation already. There are people, Akhi, there are people in South Africa, South America, whose name is Umar and Ali and Ahmad, but they do like this.
And Fatima, and it's really funny, and
Fatima.
they don't know that they're.
And Aisha, that their ancestors are Muslims.
And it's really funny that they don't even know the name Omar is an Arabic name.
No,
It's really.
they don't. They don't even know.
Yeah.
Because this generation came and they worried about money. They worried
Yeah.
about resources. They worried that. You see, the problem with a lot of the people who migrate to these countries, they think that Allah wanted to give them Jannah in the dunya.
Right.
That Allah giving them America, giving them Europe to be rich and wealthy.
Right, and enjoy easy life.
No, Akhi, no, you're getting it wrong. You're getting it wrong. What is the difference between you and your brother back home who cannot even find a bread to put in the table for his children? No, Allah brought you into these lands in order to convey the message of Islam with the people there. And Allah brought you there in order to bring another generation who can deliver it. Now you have to construct these institutions that can basically take care of your offspring.
Of course.
Otherwise, you and your offspring are going to die in a state of disobedience. And the angels are going to ask you the same question. Why? How did you allow yourselves to die in that state? When you could migrate, when you could go somewhere else, when you could find a better place. How can you? We were oppressed in the land.
Not an excuse.
Accept illa. Those who are, those elders,
Okay.
those who إلا المستضعفين من الرجال والنساء والولدان, or children or women, لا يستطيعون حيلة. They cannot do it. They cannot make it. They
Yeah,
cannot
poor.
make it.
Okay.
أولئك عسى الله أن يعفو عنهم. Those, maybe Allah will forgive them. Maybe Allah will forgive them if they have an excuse. But you, being a head of the household, you seeing your child going to public school, he's already smoking dope,
Yeah.
smoking weed, he's
Yeah.
already going around and partying at night, and you're staying? It's too late, yes,
Yeah, it's too-
but you got to do something about it. And that is why I invite Muslims in America, Muslims in Europe, to put together their own schools, Islamic schools. But again, underline that word
What
Islamic,
Islamic? What do we mean?
not washy-washy Islamic.
Right.
And get some people who believe in this into the leadership of these institutions, because a lot of the people who want these Islamic schools to run as 50% Islamic schools, they always use the excuse of resources. We don't have money. I still remember this, Malik. We had a school where we had to stand. The paycheck is the payroll.
Right.
Is on Friday, and we had no money. And we had to stand after Jum'ah asking the people to give for this.
SubhanAllah.
That's how it was run. And
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, still successful. Alhamdulillah, still producing
Yeah.
the best
Yeah, right.
generation. So you're going to be tested.
Right.
You're going to be tested. It's not going to be easy that you're running an Islamic school, because you need a lot of resources. You need a lot of resources in order to make it happen. But yet, you're doing the right thing. And I'm telling you, if you're doing the work of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless your efforts and will bless your schools.
Inshallah.
But again, in light of what is happening because Americans themselves, Europeans themselves right now are turned off by their own schools. They don't like their schools.
They're looking for better values
They're
themselves.
actually looking for alternatives.
We should be there to say, look, guys, we're here. Come
know,
to us.
You know how many reports you read every day about how failure the education is in America? How failing the education is in America? It is not working. It is not working. It is not working. So themselves are looking for alternatives. And that is why there is something that was introduced recently. I mean, it's been there for a while, but it's now a full gear, the homeschooling.
Right.
We as Muslims can develop something with the homeschooling, which is actually using our masajid as a place where we provide the social aspect, the Islamic studies, Arabic and Quran, and have them homeschool math, science. So let's talk about some yani solutions, because if you as a parent cannot afford sending your child to an Islamic school where the environment is totally Islamic, because you cannot afford $400, $500 a month, there are other solutions. Maybe we need to talk about this.
Inshallah. Let's go to the next segment. Let's talk about homeschool in the masjids, inshallah. You guys stay tuned for the next segment of your show, Building a Better Future. Assalamu alaikum.
Up to heaven, heaven where I belong.
Learn Arabic.
As everyone knows, today Arabic is considered as a very important, very significant language. How can we produce the sound, the state of voicing, place of articulation, and manner of articulation? So in Arabic, the words which are written are pronounced.
We will learn how to write and pronounce Arabic letters correctly in depth. Explanation via board and presentation with many other important factors.
We have today more than 300 million people speak Arabic language. Not only in the Middle East, but you can find a lot of people speak Arabic language in Asia, Europe, North America, and in South America.
What are you waiting for? Grab your notebook and pencil and stay tuned for Learn Arabic at Huda TV.
Up to heaven, heaven where I belong.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to your program, Building a Better Future. Sheikh Karim, in the last segment we were talking about the schools. If we can't afford to send our children to a private Islamic school, what can we do? Can we use, I think you suggested to use the mosque as an actual school building?
Malik, in America, and I speak about, because that's where I live, and I see the school system now has developed something called homeschooling, where you actually receive
funding from the government.
Funding for
we
the
need
government.
to utilize this,
No, they actually send you a computer, a laptop, and they get you virtual somehow with a teacher to tutor you in math, science, and language arts, which is the main one, the main core subject that is needed. And you do it at home, okay? So this way you have, now what is missing? The Islamic studies, Arabic and Quran, okay? And the social side, because we need these children, they need to socialize.
Yeah, you can't just leave them out.
You cannot just leave them at home because they miss on this. They need their friends.
Social interaction.
The social interaction. You see, the public, especially once they reach the area of public school, you need the social interaction with the people. You need to prepare them for college. That is number two. And you need basically to create for them the manners and the attitudes. That's where the masjid
comes into play.
After school program, they call it.
Yeah.
What is after school program? Basically, a group of homeschoolers, they get together, and that's where the masjid can do this job.
Okay.
A group of homeschoolers, and this can be done this way, and I'll give you another formula that we done before, and it's very successful.
Okay.
A group of homeschoolers, they get together, and then they work with the masjid for them to come and learn Arabic, Islamic studies, and Quran in the masjid.
After school hours.
After school. So all these homeschoolers, whether during the day or after, whatever, based on the schedule of their homeschooling, they work it together. It's a homeschooling group.
Okay.
And then they go where the masjid becomes the facility where they receive that social. And at the same time, they receive Islamic studies, Arabic, and Quran. Another beautiful way to do it, and it's been so successful, that they sign up for homeschooling. Because you see, in America, the parents, if they do not send their children to, and you probably know this, any type of school, they get in trouble with the system. They can actually, they can take the children
to school.
They can actually take the children away from them. So what they do is, they need to, the masjid would develop a hifz program.
Okay.
Just purely memorizing the Quran. But with the Quran comes in Islamic studies and Arabic. And then they take 1 or 2 hours or 3 hours to go and get tutored by a tutor. But this
for
is
the other subjects.
For the other
English,
subjects.
science, math.
Yes.
Whatever. Okay.
So you end up creating that formula again. These are all solutions.
And we're using the funding of the homeschooling.
Yeah.
That's
the funding of the homeschooling.
That's the important point.
Yes. You see, these are all solutions.
Yeah.
So instead of paying $400 or $500 to an Islamic school, You can go ahead and pay maybe 300, 250. I think the Hifz program, this is how much it would cost to a teacher who teaches Hifz. And at the same time, they go ahead and Hifz Quran and Arabic, and at the same time, they go and receive the science and all of these are ideas. We got to be creative.
Yeah, we have to contribute somehow.
We got to contribute. We cannot just say that's the way it is. We cannot do it.
It's too hard to change.
Too hard. Then go somewhere else.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But it seems like we have a lot of resources available if you have some creative people like yourself to think about this and implement it, and it'll really benefit us the next generation.
We have to. You have no choice but this. But you allowing your children to be in a public school, it's dangerous. You allowing your child to be in a 50% Islamic schools where they do not hold the environment right, where they do not hold the principles of Islam. Meanwhile, it's more confusing to the children. You have to think about pure Islamic school or these alternatives in order to help the ummah, in order to help to bring that generation up in that environment.
And even just to help themselves. I mean, I'm surprised. How can a parent be surprised if his son comes home with bad behavior, if he sent him to a public schools?
I probably mentioned this to you before, Malik, and I repeat it again. I have seen parents who transform from Jahiliyyah to Islam because of their children. Their children would go home and share with them, Father, today in school, my Islamic studies teacher taught me this and this and this and that. Subhanallah, I didn't know this. I didn't know this.
They are the catalyst for us.
I didn't know that. And they change. Wallahi, I have seen parents, mothers who were not even wearing their hijab. They're transforming. They are becoming ideal Muslims. And they are loving it. And they are loving it because of their children. By the virtue of their children. Because it's الدال على الخير كفاعله. You always, من سن في الإسلام سنة حسنة. It's always like this. If you introduce a good practice, you get a hit of it. You get a piece of it.
You get a piece of yourself.
Of course, in the akhirah, the hadith applies to the akhirah that your reward hasana is al-akhirah. But in the dunya also. Subhanallah, that's why I love the field of da'wah, because I feel like if I keep doing it, Allah will give me a piece that I'll stay in the path. You know, so you get always a piece of the goodness. A piece of the goodness. And the same exact thing with your children. If you contribute to their welfare and to keeping them in a good Islamic environment, Allah will also give you that.
Sheikh, what about, we've talked about kindergarten to age 18 in the United States. We send the kids to preschool, kindergarten, all the way up until 18, they graduate high school. At that point, I mean, they have great universities over there. So at that point, are you going to say, okay, these guys, they have the tools.
No.
We can send them out.
We're talking about universities now. There are brothers.
Okay.
There are brothers in the East Coast who put together Tawbah University now.
Okay.
Tawbah University.
With the bachelor's degree and everything.
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at that age, do you think they have the tools? Not yet.
Not yet.
We don't
Well, I don't want to.
Depends on the
I don't want to. I think ideally, to build up a Muslim entity.
A to Z, everything. We don't need to go outside for anything.
But to be fair, if you have done your best at home, father, mother, good environment, solid environment, the masjid is the imam,
strong,
holds the right creed, teaches the Quran and Sunnah, and he does not use weak stuff. He has some stuff for the children. He teaches the Salah, and then the Islamic school until high school. I think your chances are strong.
And that's what we're shooting for.
But below that, no. So I want to go up to high school now. That's what and it's doable. We were doing it already in America. Inshallah, we're doing it in America. Up to a high school. Up to the high school. After that, I would say we must stay ambitious to present to our future generation as well college.
Of course.
We have Catholic universities. We have...
exactly. They call them seminaries.
Seminaries.
Yeah, there's so many Christian... Now I think about it, in California where I'm from, there's so many kids that go to Christian colleges. There's an abundance of them. It's taken for granted, actually.
Right.
So we need to establish ourselves.
We should also go there. But the minimum now,
step by step.
But we should always
look for more.
Look forward.
We're building our house, our future, step by step.
We want to talk about banking, Islamic banking.
This is a
When I
big
talk
problem
about
everywhere.
insurance, Islamic insurance. I mean, the concept of insurance is not an Islamic one, but because there are some mandatory insurance that you must acquire in America.
For example, to buy a car.
Like driving a car.
Okay.
I mean, the first thing that the cop asks you.
License and insurance.
Insurance,
Yeah.
right there. You cannot drive, so you have to acquire it because
Yeah.
it's a requirement. How can we present it? You see, that's why we say to the brothers, "Dabiha halal," or should we eat in McDonald's? Ya Rajal, you have the halal store, eat from the halal
Imagine
store.
the problems of American Muslims. Should I eat halal? Should I eat McDonald's when the other Muslims are
Eat
starving?
halal, ya Rajal,
Yeah.
just to help that brother.
Just to keep the money in the community.
Just to help the brother who invested his money in the store.
Yeah,
I mean, just out of this, without going into this is haram or this is halal.
Yeah.
Out of this, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى
Yeah.
وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلى الْإِثْمِ. He is a brother who places his wealth into this project, and you leave him and you go and buy
to
from
Safeway.
Safeway or non-Muslims.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Why wouldn't you help your Muslim brother?
Yeah.
That's how they do it. That's
Okay,
how
yeah.
they do it. So we need to think this way. If we're living in the West, of course, we don't want to abandon our brothers and sisters who live in Egypt, for example, in the Arabia, or in we have problems also in the schools here.
Yes, they do.
Very similar problem
Yeah.
where the state has taken away from the curriculum 50% of the religious material that used to be taught.
They're going in the same direction.
They're going the same direction.
This shows for them
and
too.
Subhanallah, this is also inviting. Like in Egypt right now, we have tons of private schools, where and the most successful schools, you know which ones? Which teach Islamic studies, Arabic and Quran, where they hold the Islamic values inside the school as well. We have this in the Muslim world, because our schools here in Egypt
are failing us.
Failing, because they have mixing.
Forget about it. It's going the same way as
It's
America.
the same direction.
Yeah.
So again, the same exact thing. Like we talk about, you know, I hope the people who are in charge, the people whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala entrusted with this institution, can turn it around and make it serve Islam.
Okay, excellent.
Islam is not a dangerous religion. Islam is peace. Islam is peace. I tell you, the Western world is facing some harm by Muslims, because Muslims are not aware of their religion themselves. We were deprived from the knowledge of the deen.
Okay.
And if we can restore it again, I think our chances to bring peace into this world
are better,
will be higher, inshallah.
Sheikh, real quick, back to the public schools in America. What about another path? What about infiltrating the public school system in a positive way to try to enforce ourselves on the public school system? Tell them, celebrate our holidays, don't serve this meat, just like Catholics did. On Friday, they don't serve fish, if you notice. Can't we just kind of take over the public school system in a way? Or put our imprint on it?
I mean, but not in the level of our children.
Not on the level of our
No,
children. Not at the expense of our children.
I'm sorry, not at the expense
That's gambling,
of our children.
so to speak, yeah.
It's a very dangerous thing to do. I really think that ideally think.
The two things you had mentioned are better.
You see, right now, America, and that's where I speak for, and I don't know about Europe, maybe it's different from one country to another, they already submitted to the fact that education is failing.
They've already admitted. They're looking for an alternative.
They are looking for alternatives. So if we build our own institutions and we make it successful, that can be presented to them as the alternative.
And this is the dawah as well.
This is the dawah
And the
as
success
well.
of Islam.
Yes, that's the success of Islam. So that's what we need to focus on. But trying to, that attitude that penetrate and that stuff.
It's not ready.
That's an ideology that is very dangerous in the Ummah. Yeah.
Excellent.
Nothing better than a pure Islamic school.
Thank you for your thoughts, Sheikh, so much. Barakallahu feekum for your time. We're going to our next episode, the 30th and final episode. I'm sad that our series is closing. I want to take a commitment from you before we do that episode, that maybe inshallah we can follow up with another Building a Better Future, another show, because it's been a pleasure being with you.
Inshallah.
So, inshallah, we'll see.
Jazakallah khairan, Malik. I enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you so much. You guys we're not done yet. We have one more episode. You don't want to miss it. We're going to recap everything and really conclude the program with more valuable information. So don't miss it. Stay tuned to the next episode of your program, Building a Better Future. Assalamu alaikum.
And when the darkness seems so strong and you just can't go on, pray for your helping hand. You'll see the sun will rise again. You'll find the strength to carry on. up to heaven where you belong. 'Cause life is but a journey for us all. We cry, we laugh, we run, sometimes we fall. But through it all, always recall, God never gives a burden to toll.
Huda TV strives to bring you, our viewers, the best in Islamic programming. Please send your comments and suggestions to feedback@huda.tv.
إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار والفلك التي تجري في البحر بما ينفع الناس والفلك التي تجري في البحر بما ينفع الناس وما أنزل الله من السماء من ماء فأحيا به الأرض بعد موتها وبث فيها من كل دابة وتصريف الرياح والسحاب المسخر بين السماء والأرض لآيات لقوم يعقلون ومن الناس من يتخذ من دون الله